everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of 8 Weeks to the Essential 8. In this episode, we're going to explore application control, and we're going to learn what it is, why it's considered essential, and how to implement application control in a way that achieves maturity level 1. Let's begin. Application control is a security control method designed to protect against malicious code by ensuring only approved applications and software can be executed. The easiest way to implement application control is by creating an allow list. So you may have heard of blacklists, which are lists of known malicious code. Most antivirus and anti-malware software are built on blacklists and work by blocking access to any applications the software deems unsafe or dangerous. The danger with blacklists is that there may be a chance for cyber attacks to occur when the antivirus software has not been updated to stay ahead of the latest attacks. Think of an allow list as the inverse of a blacklist. Instead of blocking known malicious code, an allow list blocks all applications except for ones you've explicitly allowed to execute. This may seem harsh, and it does severely restrict the freedom of end users, but it really is one of the safest ways to prevent the installation of unauthorized or possibly dangerous code from executing on your systems. As I mentioned, correctly implementing application control lowers the risk of malicious code wreaking havoc on your system. If your end users aren't well versed in cybersecurity safety, they can unknowingly download applications or fall for phishing scams that execute malware or ransomware. With application control in place, it would be nearly impossible for them to do so. Another reason for application control is to protect against the download of unauthorized software, which can lead to licensing agreement violations, inappropriate conduct, or vulnerable applications that can be manipulated by attackers. So similar to what we discussed in last week's episode, maturity level 1 for application control is really just telling you that standard users, aka those with non-privileged accounts, should have restrictions in place that stop them from installing or downloading apps and software on their workstations, and only approved applications should be installed on their devices. Before setting those restrictions, you absolutely need to make sure your users can access any approved applications they may need to complete their jobs. Enter allow lists. Now, it's not a requirement in maturity level 1 to implement allow listing software, but you do still need to create an allow list. Having a list of approved applications will make your life or your IT team's life a whole lot easier because there's no guesswork involved. So if a user requests the installation of an application on their device, you can first refer them to your list of approved applications. If the requested application is not on that list, you can either deny the request, or if the application is necessary for their job and it's a trusted application with minimal security risks, you can add it to the allow list. Having an allow list also makes it easy to set up devices when you onboard new users. When you hire a new employee, all you need to do is download and install the approved applications, and their device will be pre-configured so they won't need to annoy your IT team every time they need to install new apps like Microsoft Word or Excel or the Adobe Creative Suite. And finally, having an allow list is essential if or when you move on to the higher maturity levels, which do generally require the implementation of allow listing software. So there are two methods to creating an allow list. The first method is to request a standard list that is typical for your work environment from an allow list vendor. This standard list contains applications and software that are known to be trusted. Once you have this list, you can customize it further to fit your company and the roles of your employees. Alternatively, you can use a device or system that you know is currently clear of malware. You can scan the installed apps in the software, and you can use this as a standard for your other devices. When you create your allow list, you should be aware that not every user account will be using the same apps. For instance, your creative team may need software that is not typical for standard users, like Adobe Creative Cloud. so you should make sure you accommodate your list to include the apps that they use. You should also take the time to audit the applications your users currently have installed on the devices and computers. Determine which are essential and remove applications that provide little or no value. And you should consider creating an application control policy for your employees. This policy should include your list of approved applications, and it should express that it's not permissible to download unauthorized software on devices and workstations. If you don't have an IT specialist in your organization, mobile device and desktop management vendors will offer application control solutions that require minimal IT knowledge or capabilities to implement. Mobile device or desktop management software solutions generally make it really simple to apply application control on devices. To monitor your users' app usage, set allow lists, you can easily deploy new users, and you can manage your organization's devices all within the one dashboard or interface. Some MDM solutions, for Microsoft, you can use Microsoft Intune. For Apple, we recommend Jamf, or you can go with Sophos Endpoint Management. If your organization is Windows-based and you're not keen on using an MDM solution, another great tool is Windows Defender Application Control with Configuration Manager. WDAC with Configuration Manager allows you to set up application control policies for users on your network. If you want to learn more about WDAC, you can follow the link in our episode 3 blog post. And that's it for application control. For further resources, you can check out the links at the bottom of this week's corresponding blog post. And as usual, if you have any questions, please feel free to shoot through an email. Until next time.